What's happening, y'all? Justin Vi here. You're watching yet another episode of Gospel Subculture presented by Denied Society. Today I'm going to share with you my top 5 most underrated hardcore bands. You ever discover a band that just straight up kills and you cannot wait to tell your friends about them, and then finally, time arrives. You sit down with your friends like, hey, you've got to check out this new band. They're absolutely incredible. You will love them. So they listen to them, they're like, they're decent. They're kind of catchy, I guess. I'd rather listen to Radiohead. Well, I have invested a lot of time and energy into a top 5 list of bands I think should have gotten a lot more recognition than they actually did. Let's dive right in. Number 5, Violation. I saw these guys a couple times in Richmond, once in Philly. Their music is awesome. They have this really thrashy sound, but they still have the low ends and it's kind of deep and heavy. For Sound and Fury in 2007, Violation released a 6-song EP called Possessed, and I'm telling you, all 6 of these songs are straight up bangers. And their singer really mastered that elongated hardcore grunt. Number 4, More to Pride. These West Coast dudes were only a band for like 3 years, but that was just enough time for them to release an awesome album on now deceased record label Rivalry Records. I still see them pop up on flyers from time to time, but it's pretty much always California shows, and I live in Virginia, and 6,000 miles round trip for a hardcore show is just not really in my deck of cards anymore. If you've never heard More to Pride before, I strongly encourage you to go listen to their album, This Is Life, released back in 2005. Number 3, Lights Out. In case you haven't noticed so far, I'm a huge fan of West Coast hardcore. Lights Out was San Francisco's most pissed off straight edge band from the early 2000s. Youngblood Records is based out of Pennsylvania, and they have always had a stellar lineup of awesome straight edge bands. And Lights Out is no different, as they released their album Get Out on Youngblood Records back in 2004. It's seriously some of the best and loudest hardcore you could ever bless your ears with. They sing a lot about the state of the hardcore scene, and they're very outspoken about their hatred for people who try to exploit that. So if you haven't already, go check out an album called Get Out by a band called Lights Out, released on Youngblood Records. This list is getting super juicy. Number 2, Set to Explode. Washington, D.C. has been a hub for some really incredible hardcore bands pretty much since the inception of hardcore itself. Now, I'm obligated to mention the obvious DC classic bands like Minor Threat, Bad Brains, and Government Issue, but in more recent years, bands like Coke Bust, Protester, and Set to Explode have done a really good job of carrying that torch from their hardcore punk rock forefathers. Set to Explode got together, crapped out 6 amazing hardcore songs, and then disbanded shortly thereafter. These 6 songs were released on a self-titled EP on Grave Mistake Records. I highly suggest it. Alright guys, the fist is made, let's throw the punch. Number 1, Panic. Not widespread panic, not Panic at the Disco, just Panic. I honestly don't think I can fully express how underrated I think this band is. They had a pretty decent following and they were signed to Bridge 9, but even still, I think they deserve a lot more recognition than they ever got. I used to study this band's lyrics like scripture. Lyrics about loneliness, betrayal, despair, stuff that really hit deep in my earlier years. Now, of course, since then, Christ and his church have filled those voids, but back then, these songs really meant the world to me. Panic has an album called Dying For It that they released on Bridge 9, and I don't think it lasts over 20 minutes, but it's 20 minutes of fast, razor sharp, hardcore punk rock music that just punches your ears in the face. The lyrics are so deep, but the music is so violent. It's just the perfect mix to make an awesome, awesome band. I was lucky enough to see Panic at This Is Hardcore in Philadelphia in 2013, and their very first song, I may have gotten in trouble for stage diving because I may have been 400 pounds at the time. Too fat to stage dive. Story of my life. All right, guys, please take the time to check out these 5 bands that I mentioned. If you've never heard them before, I promise you're in for an awesome, awesome treat of delicious hardcore music. Also, please take the time to comment all the ridiculous things down there that you want. Tell me how stupid I look. Tell me I'm a poser. Tell me I just got on Google and looked up these 5 bands that I've never actually heard of them before. Say whatever you want. I don't care. Go follow us on Facebook and Instagram. The links are provided in the comments. And make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel.